5 years ago this month, a husband and wife team went all in on their dream and opened up an old school mom and pop butcher shop. With the COVID crisis easing up, their hopes of growing the business are getting back on track. Joining us this morning on The Splash Live is owner David Hubbard, Chef Dave, sorry, my phone's going off at the same time. I'm not good at multitasking on only one cup of coffee.
Same here. So, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We so love your shop here in the community, but I have to ask you, it's 5 years. It seems like it was yesterday to me, and I don't even work there. What's it seem like for you?
It's flown by pretty quick, to be honest. It's been a great 5 years. We've got to meet and befriend a lot of nice folks in the area. So it's definitely been a growth period. You know, we're a young family and we started a business from scratch. So it's kind of there's a learning process that's been going on for 5 years. So almost like it flashes by really quick, you know.
And with that, you just mentioned your family, because your wife is a part of this business as well. You're a team. And when we talk about small business, you are a small business.
Yes, ma'am. You know, Julie and I are at the store most every day. And our kids are here. You'll see them all the time on the weekends running around, trying to help the customers now. Brody was on Julie's chest when on one of those holders, baby holders, when we first opened for the first year. So he's 5 years old now. He runs around. He tries to give everything away to the customers. He's really generous. And then my daughter, Bella, is 8 years old. She's ringing up customers and wrapping meat and telling people how to cook stuff. I mean, she's a Top Chef Junior aficionado. She loves watching the show. She thinks she's going to be on it one day.
Oh my God, those kids are amazing.
Aren't they? At such a young age, it's amazing to me.
I'm still trying to figure out, you know, the home chef meals delivered to the house, right? Like,
yeah,
I can handle peanut butter and jelly on my own.
Well, that's fine. If you can do that, there's a lot of other things you can do, which leads me to even here, you know, when we opened up the butchery, with a lot of people that are like, you're selling this really nice meat. How do I cook it? And Julie and I are both chefs, so that kind of got us to thinking. And then in 2019, we opened up the space next door to our butcher shop called Pop-Up at the Butchery to do cooking classes and things of that nature. So we're thinking about getting back at that because my daughter is especially one this summer. She thinks that she wants to hang out here and be at cooking classes with dad and mom all summer long. So we're thinking about opening again.
Oh my God, can you imagine the headlines? 8-year-old heads up cooking school.
Yeah, well, you know, I know you know Kristen Sonnerville Douglas, I believe it is. Her little guy, he's a young guy. He likes to cook. He's into science. So there's a lot of young ones around here in the area, and Kigo and Sylvan, especially that like to cook. They come in, they shop with us. You know, they talk about the things that they're putting on the grill with mom and dad. So I think we'd have a lot of competition locally here with a lot of the little ones that could probably come in and give me a run for my money.
So before we talk more about the pop-up cooking classes, because
Sure.
I do want to talk more about that, can we just talk about, like, how is business? Because we're going into summertime. It's a stressful time for families because the prices are going up. What does that mean for you as a small business?
It's almost double as tough, if you will. We don't have necessarily the buying power of, say, a Costco or a Kroger. We don't bring in anything that's kind of commodity, if you will. So we're a higher end meat product, so it's even harder to get those items at times. And then it's even more expensive, especially when the markets kind of tighten up and things become a little more expensive. We definitely are trying to create more options that are a little more affordable for families, if you will. We've created a smash burger kit where it's pretty affordable, if you ask me. We can make your own little smash burgers at home. We have burgers and sausages, blends, and things like this that are much more affordable than, say, a center of the plate steak. And pork. Pork is much more affordable than beef, if you will. A lot of people are switching over to the other white meat, if you will. And we've offered a lot more pork options in the last, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks. Bone-in pork chops, pork roast, things like this. People are definitely gravitating towards that. And especially going into the hotter season, that gives me hot out today, hopefully. the grilling season, baby back ribs and things of this can stretch a little bit more. So you get a slab of ribs, you can feed a family of 4 versus maybe 4 steaks that will cost you 3-4 times as much. So there's options, definitely options.
So you mentioned summertime because we love going to your shop because when you're kind of grilling and you're picking the better meats and you don't know how to do it, you don't want to mess it up if you're a challenged cook or a grill master. But with that too, how much of your business increases in the summertime, or does it?
I would say, with all the lakes around the area, 90% of our business is in the 8 months that the weather's not cold, quite frankly. So from May to August is our prime run here. It literally is a season almost every year. Everybody's on the boat, or they're going to the backyard because of the nice weather, grilling, graduations, things like this. We do a ton of catering, so it kind of all ramps up at the same time in the next 4 months.
Everything tastes better on a grill.
I agree.
So, Chef Dave, can I ask you too, because just as someone who lives in the area, goes into your store and your shop, because you took over for Annabelle Cohen, or did you guys work together at all? I don't know.
I was the director of operations for Annabelle Cohen's company. So okay. I came in and I was the chef, and then I brought in some other people to do the cooking and kind of help Annabelle expand. And then she did the pizza thing over in Lone Pine, and we did some other stuff corporately with salads and stuff like that in grocery stores. But we kind of, Annabelle wanted to downsize, and then Julie and I wanted to kind of do our own thing. And so we opened up our own shop, and Annabelle kind of went on, and she just recently retired. So.
Yeah, but see how that works out, because we love that you're in the community, because I know she had that place first, so it's great because it brought you to us. But I have noticed even in your 5 years, before we get into the pop-up, even the store itself, it looks like you guys have expanded. Like you're adding more fruits and vegetables and a wine.
Yes, we got a beer and wine license to sell, and we also have a tasting license, so we can do tastings in the building as well. So that's an add-on. But we added that in 2019. It's kind of all this stuff kind of happened just before the pandemic, and so it almost like it muted a lot of those things from being able to grow. But now we're kind of coming out of that fog, and people are starting to realize that we have a lot more of these items, like beer and wine. We have a lot more produce. There's a lot of the things that maybe I always said that the butchery was going to be, when I sat down and wrote a business plan many moons ago, it was going to be a meat market from a chef's perspective. So if you were a culinarian or a chef or an aspiring chef, if you will, you don't have to be, but someone that wanted to make a good meal could come in here and find all those accoutrements, all those things that would go with that awesome piece of meat or that awesome center of the plate protein that you're going to get from us, even that Bay of Fundy salmon. So the idea was to have all those things, and with the pandemic, it ramped up all the sales on the meat specifically, but everything else kind of didn't really happen for us because people were getting maybe those things in bulk at a grocery store. So now it's kind of leveled out a little bit more, and we're offering a lot more of those options and kind of trying to round out the shopping experience here, especially for the folks here in Kego and Sylvan. They've been long crying and chanting for a grocery store. And we understand that, and we're trying ourselves, and even Dollar General across the street, if you will. We're trying, it seems like, to do all we can to facilitate those needs, but it is, growing pains, right? So the loss of produce to get it to a volume and to get the word out for people to know that we have those items, which came first, right? So it's just a process of people coming in now, and especially this summer, I think they're going to see, okay, they know what we have the meat. Now they'll see that we have the other stuff, and hopefully that'll catch on as well.
Can we kind of move in, because I know you expanded into the next door space right before the pandemic. You were hoping to do cooking classes, and I know you do catering, but then kind of the pandemic shut things down. But when you're also a small business, because I like when I go up and you go and you're, they're closed, but then you see the sign, hey, sorry, the family took a few days off on vacation. Like, you deserve that, right? But the cooking classes, is that something you think is going to come back?
I really think that I've been putting out some feelers, and I really think that there's a call for it, more specifically for kids classes. It seems that people really want something constructive for their little people to do, especially in the summer, but we also found that back when we first opened Pop-Up, we did a lot of like gingerbread house classes, and Julie did a lot of kids and baking classes. They seem to take off very well. So if we do, I'm imagining in the next couple of weeks we'll make that decision. If we do open up the classes again here in Pop-Up, again, we do all private events. We do steak dinners and stuff like that in here all the time. Strolling dinners, stuff like that. Like I said, we have the tasting license, so we can do beer and wine and stuff like that, tastings, and not have any issues. We also think that if we can kind of drive maybe some kind of synergy with the young kids, they can do the cooking classes, and then the parents can maybe have a little bit of relief in the summer. I'm thinking maybe a series where we can have the kids maybe come in 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a week for a couple weeks in a row, and they can kind of grow to understanding maybe how to use a knife, but starting with the basics, the 101 of kind of the food world.
I love that because it's inspiring the next generation. And I will say with that, because I called up to your shop because I knew you guys were doing these pop-up cooking events a while ago. It's kind of come and gone, and I wanted to get my niece cooking classes, like when you're a date night. Hey, it's a date night, come in, this, that, and the other, but it's only 2 people, you join the rest of them, and you guys weren't doing them. And I had to search all over, and I didn't want her going all the way into Detroit. I had to end up going to Royal Oak, but I think it would be such a huge success, great for gifts for people.
This was kind of the idea when we first started doing the pop-up, 100%. You'll see a lot of people that will mention that they had a good tour of Italy class, or they had a good experience doing our sausage making class or something. All those adult classes were geared towards exactly what you're saying. A couple or maybe 2 couples would come and pair up with other couples, and we'd set everybody up in the room, and there'd be 10 or 12 people learning a kind of a menu. But it's not so much this intense, like, here's how you cook, this is, on all this information overload. It's more of a relaxed environment where you can come in, I kind of guide you along a recipe, you kind of make it, you might pick up a thing or 2, but really you're having a glass of wine, you're enjoying yourself. It's cooking with a twist, no different than the painting with a twist kind of concept. And then you sit down at the end. You'd make 3 or 4 courses, and then everybody would sit down at the end and enjoy their meal. That was kind of the whole process. I think it's very hard to kind of demonstrate and get that word out like that, but that's literally was the idea. Was we had a lot of young, not even young, it was just couples, couples of people that would come in and want to celebrate whatever it was, and they wanted to be maybe even more intimate and not have uncle or auntie or cousin there, but they would do it with other random folks, right? So that was where it became murky with COVID. We had no problem kind of filling 10 or 12 last year with private classes, and it did okay. It kind of sustained us to have the space. But this year I'm thinking, there's much more of a want, like you're saying, for this public open class kind of thing where people can sign up at 2 at a time, even 1, and pair up with maybe another person who has the same kind of interest in whatever the cooking we're doing that day in that class is.
I love that because too, at the end of the day, you walk away with how many new friends. Because when you cook with them and you eat with them and you drink with them, you become friends when you walk out of that class. I'm going to kind of date myself here with this, but so my husband is cooking challenged. He works at Fox 2, and they used to do these cooking cook with the people on air or whatever, and he did single man's barbecue, which, by the way, he wasn't single at the time, but we weren't married, so I gave him a pass. But he did like microwave chicken. And I love because, right, you just said it there. And like, and then on top of it, it was like, sauce out of a jar. I was just like, oh, no. So back when we had Jeremy's in Kego, before it was Jaybird's, he offered those cooking classes. And and I signed my husband, and I made him take. I was like, no, you're going. And I didn't go with him. He had to do it by himself. And anyone who knows Chef Jeremy, he's very meticulous. Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah. He's definitely culinarily intense and driven very, very much. Yeah.
I love that you said that like that. But so it was a good experience for my husband. So after that, I was like, we will not be microwaving chicken again.
Ever again, right?
But I love on your social media, because you had a page or the one picture said, no one comes over to microwave. Right?
Is so
we
true,
come over to
right?
grill. Who's coming over like,
Exactly.
hey, I'm going to microwave you a burger tonight?
I think I would be in a lot of trouble, especially with my 8-year-old, right? Like she's challenging me on the cooking. But yeah, I think that it doesn't have to be super hard, right? Like what you're mentioning, Woody, right? And going to a class, I think him just picking up one or two things, it didn't have to be a ton, right? He didn't have to feel overwhelmed. And that's kind of that lax atmosphere, almost like date night, kind of hanging out, being able to let loose a little bit, and not worry so much. In an environment where, again, you kind of learning something, but then you can sit down and eat at the end of it, and then it's an experience, right? So like you said, you're meeting new people, you're having a conversation, and who knows, most of the time the people are from the community, right? So they're not too far away, and then there's connections just like that, right? So it works out real well.
So can I ask you quickly, and we'll let you go. I'm just so fascinated with you guys, by the way. I have stopped in your store simply because of the signs that you put out on the streets. One of them is like, I like pork butts and I cannot lie. Don't go bacon my heart.
Yep. I get, Bella, when we first got the sign, and we got the sign from we donate the dinners at Christmas time at the church over here in West Bloomfield, or I think it's Sylvan, I'm not sure. Anyway, so we donate and one of the nice ladies over there brought us that sign, and she says, here, you have this letter signed, could you guys use it? Of course. So my wife got excited. She's all about the puns, and my daughter and I watch Bob's Burgers since she was very young, and so there's always the pun of the burger thing. And so Bella was the one that said we should put something on the sign, and I said okay. And it's funny that you mentioned that, and I hope you have time for a quick story.
Oh, sure.
That sign, every day, one of the mothers that would drive by headed to St. Mary's dropping off her son. And in 2019, they didn't have anybody to represent and do the fair. The last year the fair was there, the Polish Country Fair.
I know, we so miss it, right?
Yes, you're telling me. And so the Moms and Dads Club, this family came in, and she said, my son and I noticed your sign, and we laugh every morning. We wanted to stop in and say, do you guys do catering? And that's how we got that contract to do that fair in 2019. So that sign has done really good things for us. Beyond that, it also, that sign, when we had the sign out there, we would say silly things. We had custom blend minis in our store for a while. We were doing the mini burger thing. It brought a lot of people in, and they're just like, because of the sign. So it's funny that you say that. Very fond of that sign. And one of my favorite was, what was it? What is a cow with 3 legs? Lean beef kind of thing. So I think that was from Bella too. So I laugh at it myself. I'm not smart enough or funny enough to create them. So it's usually Julie or Bella that come up with something and we put it on the sign. But I really appreciate that you mentioned that.
Hey, Chef Dave, I just got a Cricut machine, so I'm going to start taking your little puns that you put out and make them into T-shirts and sell them.
Totally, well, we have the swag. We got the T-shirts going on. They're sometimes a little edgy and fun, but people really like them, so they laugh at them. And they're definitely an extension of that sign. But go ahead, have fun with it.
We love that. Hey, for us that live in the community, we're familiar with you, but it's like you said, you kind of help bridge that gap of the grocery store oasis that we have here in the Orchard Lake. West Bloomfield, our area of that little corner of the world. So for those that don't maybe know, where are you guys located?
We are at 2534 Orchard Lake Road, and we're right here in Sylvan. We're 2 blocks from Kego, so we identify as Kego or Sylvan, so it doesn't matter to us. And obviously, across the street is West Bloomfield, and down at the corner there is Orchard Lake. So all these communities are very, very important and very close to us. And folks from all those communities definitely come and see us.
That little corner right there gets confusing. It's like kind of
Most
like
definitely.
the four corners that's in like Novi, Commerce, or whatever. I'm always like, okay,
Yep.
which business is Sylvan Lake? Which business is West
And you know,
Bloomfield?
and it's 48320 is Sylvan and Kego share the same. So, you know, who knows? Half the time it comes up Kego, half the time it comes up Sylvan.
Well, we so appreciate your time, and I know it hasn't always been easy, especially through COVID, but thank you guys for being a part of our community. And one last question before we go. Memorial Day's coming up. What's the best thing for the grill? Or no, actually, instead of, let's not talk about food. What's your one secret for grilling that you don't usually share?
My secret that I don't usually share. Oh, that's a great question. You know, I'm very, you know, I did a podcast called The Smoke Show for a while, and I would get asked that question quite often, and I would always skirt around it because I didn't really want to let the secret out. But I'll let you have the secret. Understand and know the hot spots on your grill, and everything else will work out for you. You can rotate your meat around, whatever it is, your fish, whatever it is, but understand where the hot spots on your grill are. And I think you can get a lot better understanding. Like if you're going in the oven, it's, you know, when I'm baking, it's hotter in this corner or that corner. You kind of got to rotate things and move things around to get, you know, an optimal sear or an optimal color or flavor profile. Just understand your equipment, know the temperatures, the hot spots, the cold spots on your grill. And I think that'll go a long way for the home chef, if you will.
It's such an understated secret, but it's probably really the most important one.
Yeah, know your equipment, right?
Oh my God, my husband tells me that all the time because I'm constantly buying all this gear and I don't know how to use it. Know your equipment. I'm like, yeah, put it on manual.
Right, exactly, right? It's automatic, he'll do it for me, right?
Well, we so appreciate your time, and please give our best to your wife and your entire family, because I know they're a part of this adventure with you as well. And I'm really looking forward to those cooking classes. So we'll be watching. Of course, everyone can follow you on social media.
Thank you.